Okay, and I see Toastmaster Arghya all setting up, standing up. So I think that he's all ready, Toastmaster Arghya. So do you think we should wait, or are you all set to start your speech? Okay, so we have a thumbs up, and unfortunately, I have already given the name, the person who will be speaking, but I would like to, give my own introduction for Toastmaster Arghya. Well, uh, from the last so many months, we have been associated with within the Toastmaster group. I can say that Arghya is a very enthusiastic and an awesome actor, and I hope that we get to see some of his awesome acting skill in this speech today. His name could be probably pronounced by different ways as per person's convenience, and I'm sure Arghya has several versions of his name: Arghya, Orghya, and several more. The meaning of his name is very interesting, offering to the Lord. And he has offered, and I can so proudly say he has offered a lot to this club by his contribution, just like his name. So with that introduction, I would like to introduce Arghya with a great round of applause. And before that, of course, as the norm, I would like to invite Toastmaster Nimit, his evaluator, to come to the stage and describe his program objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Nimit.
Thank you, Ragini. And today I am evaluating Toastmaster Arghya's speech. Toastmaster Arghya is attempting his level 1 project 2 second speech. And the statement of his speech is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback on the second speech. This being his second speech, he is challenged to apply the feedback which he received from his last speech. So I would be evaluating him. Timer, please note the time for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Ragini.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nimit. Toastmaster Arghya, MasterChef Special, MasterChef Special, Toastmaster Arghya.
Am I audible? Great. Mr. Presiding Officer, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, welcome guest and my dear fellow Toastmasters. Good morning to all. Imagine you are in a pandemic. Businesses are shutting down. Economies are getting hit day by day. Food and water are in scarcity. People are dying and privileged people are in a bubble. And worst of all, corporates are working from home. Please bear with me and add to this imagination of yours a pinch of fear. A pandemic is about to hit us, and we fear that it will be sooner than expected. Mr. Bill Gates, who predicted that in 2015 of a potential virus and asked the world to be prepared to tackle this crisis, now say that the next disaster is going to be climate change. And every year the death toll will be greater than what we register today in this pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, to the imagination of yours, add one full cup of misfortune. Our elders have worked real hard to bring in the Industrial Revolution for their own survival. And we are very grateful to them for not giving us the opportunity to fight for our survival, but to work for a better living standard. Now, Industrial Revolution has fed us well. Even the tiniest bit of luxury we find around ourselves finds its way back to the inception of manufacturing industries. Hold this pen for example and say hello to Industrial Revolution. But we are very unfortunate that we have to pay a price for it today. And tomorrow we are going to pay even a higher price. And why is it so? Because climate change is a product like your iPhone that we are buying every day. But what motivates us to buy this product? To know this, let's take our imagination and put it on the oven to heat it. You see, carbon dioxide absorbs the heat in the atmosphere. And as a matter of fact, forests have the superpower to absorb this carbon dioxide. But we chose deforestation over making a Hollywood movie on forest. We are like the Robin Hood the world does not deserve. We take money from the rich, but don't give it to the poor. And again, the intensive agriculture for the growing population is a concern which is needless to explain to a bunch of Delhiites. And again, the fluorinated gas coming out from the luxury of our houses. I think it is the right time to take a smell test of our preparation. To do this, let's hold our imagination a bit closer and smell it. The Earth's temperature has risen by 1.18 degrees Celsius in the last 40 years, 2016 and 2020 being the warmest on record. The ocean's temperature has increased by 0.33 degrees Celsius. The sea level has risen by 20 centimeters in the last century, and the rate is doubled in last 2 decades. Greenland has lost 279 billion tons of ice, and Antarctica has lost 149 billion tons of ice, and the rate is consistent throughout the years. Acidity in the oceans have increased by 30%. Now the smell is alarming, but we can help ourselves. And to do that, let's take a homegrown habit. Could be the status-driven society and celebrations, and marinate these two habits with goodwill. What I mean to say is that we should be purchasing economic and energy efficient commodities and leave behind an example in our society for the upcoming generations to follow. And also, we should celebrate scrapping off old and inefficient commodities. Figuratively, what I try to mean is that you should be posting more photos on your Facebook profile when you're scrapping an old diesel car compared to when you're buying a new one. But this alone cannot help us. What we need is to go to the market and fetch some ugly marketing strategy and chop them in a fine manner. Like the thought of large fridge sizes solves larger problem. We should chop it immediately, because you and I know it very well as a matter of fact that no matter the size of the fridge, it is always going to be jam-packed. Interestingly, in a different storyline, Achilles was a great warrior, and so is our Mother Earth. But Achilles had a weak spot. Let's take this idea and get a point out of it. What we can do is that every air conditioner we purchase is equivalent to hitting an arrow in Achilles' heels. So what can we do now? Let's take this good habits and the abolish strategies and then saute it for a while. Why do we need this? Because the only escape from climate change is innovation. But as we know, innovation takes time. So we need to be careful with our day-to-day life choices. But then the question arises, what is our way ahead from here? Then I say, take this saute of good habits and abolish strategies and add them to your imagination. Add them to your imagination. You see, every time you prepare this dish, it becomes tastier. And you know how? Because every time you add in freshly cut anxiety and agitation as toppings. Because this Mother Earth is my own, and everything that happens wrong with it is my responsibility. I am not poor, but I take pride in having installed 0 air conditioners in my house. I am a vehicle geek and a passionate driver. However, I would love nothing much than to scrap my 10 years old car. And I'm already working on it. I am not here to discriminate and to ridicule the status-driven society. But I see it as a platform where changes can happen. I believe I can bring the change. With this, my recipe is complete, and the idea is to take a bite and pass on. That's how wisdom is served. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arghya. What an amazing chef and what an amazing recipe you had. a very, very interesting topic of nature and the Industrial Revolution and how it is eating all of us. And we all are witnessing it with the current pandemic, the global warming, and so many things. And this was a very interesting twist to the MasterChef recipe. And thank you so much for such an interesting speech. And with that, I think we'll take a 1-minute break.